Hi everyone, welcome to Lunch Hour Lessons with Allison. I'm Allison Mädl and today is November 28th, 2018. Every week I come to you live to introduce a topic that I think is interesting and give you a lesson to take with you into your daily life. If you have questions or like what you hear, be sure to comment during this live video, or you can also like my page to make sure it shows up in your newsfeed each week. Right after the broadcast, I always post a transcript of this video on my blog at allisonmadel.com. So you don't have to take notes, just go ahead and check it out there. So this week's topic is homemade yogurt, and that's naturally lactose and sugar-free. So it's natural sugar and added sugar-free, which is pretty cool. So it's actually really easy to make lactose-free, sugar-free yogurt at home, and it only has one or sometimes two ingredients. And it actually tastes really good. So I've made this yogurt for probably 8 or 9 years now, and I've taught multiple people to make it, and they really enjoy it as like a staple that they can have for breakfast as an alternative if they're trying to phase out, cereal and milk, and they want something quick and easy in the mornings. This type of yogurt's great. It's also really nice as a dessert, so eaten with fresh fruit or if you want kind of like a lower sugar dessert. This is actually really, really nice. You can put cinnamon and vanilla and kind of dress it up however you want, because this is the plain yogurt, and it's pretty sour. It's pretty tart, which I don't know. I think a lot of people find it pretty refreshing. So when you're making yogurt at home, what you're doing is you're participating in an ancient tradition, and it's called lactofermentation. Lactofermentation is when bacteria, and specifically in this case, lactobacillus bacteria, which are like milk-loving bacteria, they eat the sugar that's in the milk, the lactose, and they convert it quickly into lactic acid. And that's the acidic part that gives the plain yogurt its tart flavor. So there's 3 things that you're going to need to make yogurt at home. The first thing is a starter culture. So a starter culture is just kind of the term for that bacteria, that lactobacillus bacteria that turns the milk into yogurt. And so some people use a starter culture for every single batch. That's actually what we do at home, is I add a little bit of the starter culture into every batch of yogurt that we make. But other people that I've taught, my family and some of my friends, actually just use a little bit of the yogurt that they made in that batch, and then they use that little bit to culture the second batch. So it's kind of like a perpetual process here. So that's what I mean when I say it's either 1 ingredient or 2, because after the first batch, you're basically using the yogurt you have to make future yogurt. So it's kind of cool and really economical, because all you're buying is the milk or the half and half, which is actually the second thing that you need to make yogurt. So the first thing was the starter culture. Second thing is the milk or half and half. If you're going to use milk, I'd suggest whole milk. It's going to give it a lot creamier texture, a lot more flavor. The half and half is actually even better in my opinion, and really what I recommend for making this type of yogurt. So half and half is going to be needing to be organic, because it has a high fat content, and when cows are eating in pasture, or even if they're raised in confinement feeding, they can get a lot of toxins, and whatever toxins they get are actually going to be stored in the fat. So dairy products in general, it's really important to have organic. So look for organic half and half, and try to find half and half that's not ultra pasteurized. This might be difficult because most half and half and cream is ultra pasteurized now, but it's really something you want to avoid. So try to find a good source of it. Again, like with anything, hopefully it doesn't have any fillers like guar gum, xanthan gum, and things like that. So that's the half and half. So that's the second thing that you're going to need. And the third thing that you're going to need is something to keep that milk and starter culture warm. And that would be an incubator of some sort. There's lots of different kinds of incubators. You can use like a special dedicated yogurt maker, which is what we use. Bought it about like 8 or 9 years ago when I started making yogurt, before things like the Instant Pot came out that actually does make yogurt as well. But when you use your Instant Pot for yogurt, you're just using it as a warming container. So it's just something to keep it warm at a consistent temperature for 24 hours. And that's how long this yogurt takes. It's actually 24-hour yogurt. That's how long it takes for that lactobacillus to go in and eat up all the sugars in the milk. So that starter culture is working and working. And if you make yogurt and incubate it for about 6 hours, it's not going to be, all the sugar won't be gone by then. It takes about 24 hours for it to be completely sugar-free. So that's kind of the deal with making it at home, is most yogurts that you buy in the store, they're not going to be incubated for that long. So the thing that I really like is about our yogurt maker is that it's really basic. It doesn't have any digital displays. It just has a very simple heating unit at the bottom that keeps it at one consistent temperature, just a little bit over body temperature, so about 105, 110. We really don't want to go any higher when we're incubating the yogurt because it's going to kill off the bacteria, and they're kind of working there trying to eat up the sugar. So the brand that I have for yogurt maker is a Yo Gourmet yogurt maker. It's a 1/2 gallon size, and that's what I recommend to others. I just think it's so easy to use. If you do have an Instant Pot, you can use that. You can also even do it in the crock pot. There's some people that do it in the oven. They just set their oven to a low temperature if you can get it really consistent. And so you can do that. So those are the 3 things: milk, or starter culture, milk, and the incubator. That's basically all you need to make yogurt at home. So there are lots of recipes online for this. I made a recipe with pictures for the yogurt that I make. It's actually on my blog, freedomofhealth.info. That's my client site. When I take private clients, I direct them to that freedomofhealth.info. And so there's a blog there that has pictures about how to make this yogurt, and I'll post that in the transcript on my blog, AllisonMädl.com. So you can see that. So just as a side note, from that blog, there is pictures of me heating up the 1/2 and 1/2 before I put it in to incubate. And because it's already pasteurized, technically you don't actually have to do that step. So if you're going to follow that recipe that I have, we realize you can actually just dump the 1/2 and 1/2 directly into the yogurt maker and just go from there. So you don't have to do that heating step. So you can play with it. There's nothing wrong with heating it. If you do, it's not going to hurt it, but it's kind of an added step you don't really need. So that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tell a friend this week's lunch hour lesson, which is that delicious yogurt can easily be made at home. Again, that's delicious yogurt can easily be made at home. Like my page to get the weekend tip that's going to come out on Saturday morning, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.